After many years of people asking Roland to recreate some of their popular vintage gear, they finally did the thing. Back in 2014, Roland released the Era line, a new series of products inspired by their classic synths and drum machines, and thus, the TR-8 was born. Although not analog, and yes, I'm sure this fact alone kept many people away from this glowing green eyesore, the Era line and all future synths to come from Roland to this day work with something called ACB technology. This technology claims to reproduce each analog component by thoroughly analyzing the details of the original design, resulting in a close enough sound without the analog price tag. Owning a vintage synth or drum machine is really a luxury. Prices for these classic sought-out devices continue to skyrocket, so from a financial standpoint, the ugly green makes sense. Not only is the TR-8 a much greater bargain than a classic TR-808 or 909, but it's also much more feature-packed, allowing us to have both 808 and 909 sounds plus effects. There's also something called the 7x7 expansion, which is a paid update that adds 3 more drum machines to your TR-8. I think it's like $100, but it's definitely worth it. If you're planning on buying used, just make sure to ask if it comes with the 7x7 expansions. These sounds really take the TR-8 to a whole different level. There's also the TR-8S, which comes with the 7x7 expansion included, and that one is $699, and it also has the ability to sample. But if you're looking for something to mangle samples, I would still recommend something else, maybe like the Electron Digitact or Machine, because the sample mangling capabilities are really limited, and you can't sample into the unit itself, so you have to load your samples via USB or SD card. And also, I still prefer the original TR-8 workflow to the TR-8S, just because it's more hands-on and less menu divey. You get a lot more features on the other one, which means more menu diving, more button combinations to remember. The TR-8 is my go-to drum machine when I just need a simple beat playing in the back that I can easily evolve without having to go too deep into like sound design. All the sounds that I need are there, classic sounds that we all need and love, and if I do need to get into sampling, I'll just use a different device. And like with anything good and classic and no longer in production, the prices on the TR-8 are slowly starting to go up again, sometimes even reaching close to like used TR-8S prices, which is pretty crazy to think about. But it's just one of those devices that you just turn on and get to jamming, and even just playing it on its own is a fun experience. The sliders really add a whole new level of interaction in comparison to other drum machines, like for example the Analog Rhythm or the Machine. The Machine isn't really a drum machine, it's more sample based, but just having those sliders really gives you like a lot more control over the volumes and bringing stuff in and out, muting tracks in certain parts, and really gives you like a lot more control over your live performance overall. And the scatter is a little cheesy at first, but definitely useful and fun to use. So the TR-8 has one stereo output, and then it also has 2 assignable outputs, which allow you to send specific sounds out of those outputs into your mixer or interface. We also get a stereo audio in, and also a very cool feature of the TR-8 and the S, and I think the new TR-6S as well, is the sidechaining that occurs when you use the inputs of this device. So here's an example of me using the sidechain by running my modular synthesizer into the TR-8 and then slowly bringing up the sidechain. It creates like that cool pumping effect that you hear in a lot of like electronic and lo-fi music. I haven't really found any other drum machine that has this sidechain effect so easily accessible and with such great intensity. Like the Analog Rhythm has a sidechain, but you have to set it up, you have to do all these extra things to it, and it doesn't give it that pumping effect that you get like straight out of the box with this. I made a TR-8 tips and tricks video a few years back. If you haven't seen that already, definitely check it out. Just a few tips for like performance and making your transition smooth when synced into another machine. So I really feel like the TR-8 is geared towards live performance, having immediate access over the decay and tuning of all of your sounds. It really is like a hands-on drum machine, and after a while the ugly green sort of starts to grow on you. As you can see, I've started to sticker bomb mine. A lot of people also ask me where I get these caps. These are chroma caps, they have all colors. So if you're looking for a classic drum machine that'll give you good sounds when you need it, look no further than the TR-8. I am sure this is going to be a future classic, and I am not the only one that thinks so. That's it guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe, hit that little bell so you don't miss any videos. If you guys like what I do, consider becoming a Patreon. You get music, my art, you name it. Stay safe, make music, and I'll catch you in the next one.